Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is FPL Roxas, and today I'll be sharing my Gameweek 23 team selection. The Gameweek 23 deadline is coming real quick. It's a little bit more than a day after the final fixture of Gameweek 22. With the blacks and doubles coming soon, it's time to start planning. As usual, feel free to like and subscribe if you found the video enjoyable. Alright, let's start the team selection video. As I'm recording this video, Gameweek 22 isn't over yet, with 2 more games left to play. Out of all the players I have shortlisted in my previous video, I have chosen De Bruyne, and he has immediately returned, which is quite reassuring. So far, I've got 43 points, which puts me in 1.6 million in rank. A few bad performances from some of my players, which has led to this score. Estupinan having conceded 3 goals in the first half and then getting subbed out during halftime, just netting him 0 points in total. And then there is Darwin, who missed the penalty by hitting the post. I think he hit the post like 2 to 3 times in a game, which is quite insane actually. On another day, he would have scored from all those chances, but it just shows how good he is at getting those chances in the first place. The -2 from missing the penalty got negated by his late assist, which gave him a total of 2 points for this week. I think the rest of the team performed similar to my expectations. I didn't think Spurs was going to get a clean sheet against Brentford, while Leno finally got a clean sheet for Fulham. Watkins also back into the score sheet, and of course, my City players return. And that's all with the quick review of Game22 out of the way. Let's move over to my transfer targets for Game23. Overall, the main objective for the long term is to get as many players for Double Game25 and Blank Game26. My first target is Holland, as City is going to double. He has finally played his first few minutes back from injury in the recent win against Burnley. The Brentford game this weekend might be the time that we can get to see him start again. Of course, I'll have to monitor his availability towards the deadline, as similar to De Bruyne, it might take a few more games before he gets to start a game, as Pep wouldn't want to risk playing him while he's unfit. If I do bring him in, I'll be having a triple up of City attackers with Foden, De Bruyne, and Holland, which looks perfect on paper. This will mean having Darwin out of the team, which will have me miss his Burnley game and the potential double in 25. Out of my 3 forwards in Solanke, Darwin, and Watkins, I would only be considering Solanke and Darwin to be removed, as I have a lot of money tied on Watkins. Solanke has a nice run of fixtures ahead, but he faces Newcastle and City in Game 25 and 26, so Solanke might be the one getting out instead of Darwin. Next up is Michael Olise. I'd love to get him, as I think he's Palace's best player at the moment. At just 5.9 million, he has 5 goals and 3 assists in just 5 games. That's numbers people would want from midfielders like De Bruyne and Salah. He is currently flagged as he went off injured late in the game against Sheffield. It didn't look too bad, so I think he should be ready for the Brighton game. I'd love to bring him in, but it will depend on Holland's availability. If I get information that Holland is still not ready to start, then I'll be considering a move to bring in Olise. Lastly is Diogo Jota, who was in my honorable mentions from my previous video when I was contemplating on who to bring in for Game 22. He outscored De Bruyne by 1 point, which I'm completely fine with. But it still feels weird. It's probably FOMO for not owning him yet. He's supposedly going to have a double game week in 25, but so far it still hasn't been announced yet. Once it has been confirmed, I'd want him for the double game week for sure. I have a feeling that he's going to continue returning in the next few games, so ignoring him and not bring him in is going to be quite stressful. Just like Elise, he'll be another player who I'll be considering to bring in if Holland is not ready to start. So there are 3 particular situations that I can get myself into. First is bring Holland in and have a triple up of City players with the risk of him not starting the next few games. The second is bring Elise, who is in form and has a decent run of fixtures for the long term and doesn't blank in Game 26. And the third is to bring in Jota, who is also in form, with the hopes that the double in Game 25 gets confirmed as soon as possible. The drawback of getting Holland is the uncertainty regarding his fitness to start. The drawback for getting Elise is that he doesn't have a double in 25, but that's not really a problem as he doesn't blank in 26. And lastly, the drawback for Jota is that he blanks in 26, but of course, he is most likely going to have double in 25. These 3 transfer options are more complicated than I have first thought, each having their own pros and cons, so I'm going to have to think about this a lot more towards the deadline. And this is how my team will line up for Game 23, before any transfers, of course. Starting in goal, I have Leno against Burnley away. He finally gave me a clean sheet after failing to do so in 5 consecutive games. I have a feeling that Burnley won't be as easy to keep a clean sheet from as they look to bounce back from the loss against City. If Leno is in top condition, I think he should be able to make a few saves. Probably a clean sheet, I hope. For my defense, I have Poro, Saliba, and Estupinian. The only doubt I have in my defense is in Saliba as he faces Liverpool. Arsenal haven't been able to keep a clean sheet against them in this season, losing 2-0 in the FA Cup and drawing 1-1 the away fixture. Both teams are looking to get the win as they continue the title race, so it doesn't look like it's going to be a low-scoring game. For my midfield, I've got Foden, De Bruyne, Gordon, and Palmer. Foden and De Bruyne has Brentford away, which should be easy to attack. Brentford hasn't kept a clean sheet in their last 11 Premier League games. With City having De Bruyne and Haaland, this game has the potential to be a goal fest, and I'm sure Foden and De Bruyne will be involved one way or another. Gordon has Luton at home. Luton won it in the reverse fixture by just 1-0, and they're currently playing really well. One thing to note is that Gordon has only blanked once at home this season, so I'm confident that he's going to continue returning even against an informed Luton. Palmer has Wolves at home. I benched Martinelli for him, and I think it's an easy decision. Palmer has the easier fixture and is on penalties and set pieces, so it's a no-brainer to start him. For my forwards, I've got Darwin, Watkins, and Slanky. Darwin has Arsenal away. It won't be as easy as Chelsea to get chances at goal for sure. If I were to bring in Holland, I think Darwin's the likely one to get transferred out. So my forward line could have a Holland instead. Of course, it all depends on if I get more news regarding his availability. And Watkins has Sheffield away. He blanked in the reverse fixture, but I'd love to see him prove me wrong by returning this weekend. Solanke has Forest at home. I think we all remember his hat trick last month in the same game against Forest. He has been quiet in recent games, so it'd be nice to see him get to scoring again. And this Forest game looks just right. My favorite captaincy options for this week are Solanke, Palmer, De Bruyne, and Gordon in a particular order. The current plan is to use my transfer to bring in one of the players I've mentioned in the previous section. I've discussed about the pros and cons about each player that I'm considering to bring in. So if you want to have a look at it again, you can go ahead and rewatch the transfer target section. I could also bank my transfer, which could also work, but I'd rather bank my transfer next week instead, so that I'll have 2 free transfers for Double Gaming 25. And that wraps up this week's team selection video. Good luck to everyone for Gaming 23. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to be updated on my latest uploads. I'll be uploading every week, so stay tuned. Leave a comment if you'd like, and thanks for watching the video.